Alright, so today I watched episode 2 of season 2 of The Last of Us. And I just gotta get some stuff off my head. So ultimately, the video game The Last of Us, the first one, is my favorite video game. Between the technical aspects of the game, the story of the game, the relationship between Joel and Ellie, I absolutely love that game. Love it. It's like, in my mind, it is the perfect video game. The Last of Us Part 2, not so much. The technical aspects of the video game were phenomenal. It played really well. The graphics were great. The um, the mechanics of the game were great. The story of the game was terrible. I hate it. Like it ranks as one of my least favorite video games. So when they did the TV adaptation of The Last of Us, I was excited for season 1, not so much for season 2. So I'm going to start with the story for the second game. They could have told basically the same story, but they could have done it so much better. All right. Personally, the way I would have done it was I would have introduced Abby in a separate DLC. Right? I would have, kind of like The Last of Us Left Behind, I would have taken the part of the game where you play as Abby as like a 12-year-old girl or whatever, and would release that as a free standalone DLC. Just get people used to playing as Abby and try to form that emotional connection with Abby prior to making you play as Abby in The Last of Us Part 2. Then the story I would have actually told was that instead of Joel saving Abby, because Abby can still be on her quest of revenge against Joel, but instead of having Joel save Abby at the beginning of the game, I would have had Ellie save Abby at the beginning of the game. Then I would have had them form a really close connection. Now, that connection could have been as a friendship or romantic relationship. That part doesn't matter. But they could have formed a very close relationship. And then, through the course of time, Abby finds out Joel is Ellie's surrogate father. And puts two and two together that this is Joel who killed her father, and Ellie, the girl that Joel killed her father to save. Then you can have this real emotional conflict inside of Abby. Well, she has to choose between her desire for revenge and her newfound love of Ellie. Ultimately, she chooses revenge, which sets Ellie on the path to go after Abby. Then at the end of the game, when Ellie decides to let Abby live, there's more context as to why she would make that decision. Because when you look at it just black and white, right? Abby took everything from Ellie. She took Joel, she took Dina, she took JJ, because Dina and JJ left Ellie when Ellie went on her quest for revenge. So she lost JJ and Dina. She lost Joel. She lost her town because her she's basically blackballed from her town. She can't go back there. She lost her thumb and first finger, so she can't play the guitar anymore, which is the one connection she had left with Joel. So she's literally left with absolutely nothing, but yet she still let Abby walk away. And on the same token, Ellie took everything from Abby. Like, everything except Lev, or whatever that kid's name was. Everybody that Abby cared about, Ellie took from Abby. So you could have had that emotional story. You could have had the revenge story. But you could have told it so much better. Instead, you done dirty to Joel. And I cannot forgive that in that game. Then you get this Last of Us TV series. Now, in general, in the first season, I thought Bella Ramsey did a really good job as Ellie in the TV series. The second season, it doesn't fit. It just does not work. And they're just not writing it well with Ellie this year. Because in the the season premiere, Ellie is taking on this like 6'3", 6'4" muscular, 220-pound man. And she is able to hold her own and take him down. Then he's like, yeah, well, I pulled my punches. Well, okay, fine. Pull the punches, whatever. But she's still able to get him to submit. This episode, she's held down by like 110-pound woman. And she can't do anything about it. So how do you go from being able to take out a like 220-pound muscular man to not being able to defend yourself against a 110-pound woman? That does not make sense. Also, in the video game, they use this time frame just prior to what happened to Joel. They use that time frame to develop the relationship between Ellie and Dina. Because you had the dance at the beginning of the game. Then you had the snowball fight with the kids at the beginning of the game, which helps develop the relationship. I think Dina was in that. I only played the game once. I wasn't about to give it another go through, but I think Dina was in the snowball fight. But I know for a fact that was Dina and Ellie that went on patrol together, found the place with all the hanging marijuana plants, and that is when they really got some time to explore their relationship, and they end up hooking up. In the episode, she's not with Dina. She's with JJ's father. I forget what his name is, but Jamie or something. She's with him, not with Dina. So you don't get that episode building that relationship between Ellie and Dina. Instead, they put Joel with Dina instead of Tommy, who he was supposed to be with. And admittedly, they have Dina say Joel's name, and that's how Abby realizes she's with Joel, which is done better than the way the video game did it, where they're just like, yeah, I'm Joel, this is Tommy, and oh yeah, by the way, right? So that one part was better. As a technical aspect, the game was really good. As a technical aspect, the episode was really good. Like the visuals were great, the bloater was great. But it was too much. You did not need to have the town attacked when you already have this emotional story being told with Joel. You do not need the city to be attacked. And if you're going to the fact that they had that part of the story with the Tom being attacked means you have to remove Tommy from Joel and you have to keep him in the town. So the last interactions that Tommy and Joel have together as brothers is gone. The character building and the relationship building between Ellie and Dina is gone. And you just have it happen. Now, the only part of the episode that I really thought was done well was when Abby was being chased by the horde and she's hiding behind the fence and they knock the fence down and she has to crawl under and then Joel saves her. Okay, that part was done well. And that was how it happened in the game. However, from that point, the episode just went downhill for me. It just, they remove all common sense from Joel. All common sense. And they say that Dina got frostbite. In the time it took to go from where they had been holed up to this cottage. Yet Joel did not get frostbite, Abby did not get frostbite, only Dina. But then you remove Joel's survival instincts, remove everything about Joel that makes Joel Joel. You got this, the town is under attack now. Now, the Joel from the video games would have went to try to save the town. He would have done that. Especially considering he would have thought Ellie was at the town. Or might have at least thought Ellie was at the town. Joel would have went back to the town. He would not say, okay, let me go away from the town to this lodge, because I don't think in the episode they mentioned how many friends are actually at the lodge or the kind of weaponry they had at the lodge. Joel just took this stranger's word for it that there are people and weapons at this lodge. So he goes away from the town, which is already currently under attack. He goes the opposite direction of the town to this lodge. That is very out of character for Joel. Then, after Abby takes him and pulls the guns on Joel or whatever, Joel just stands there and takes it. He doesn't fight back. He doesn't verbally argue at all. He just takes it. So when Abby's like explaining to Joel that, well, yeah, you killed one unarmed doctor. Well, Joel would have said, okay, well, let's look at the full context. Let's look at the full context. Do you know what that doctor was doing? Because personally, I would be asking, why would he kill this random doctor in an operating room? What reason could he possibly have had to kill this doctor? Then you say to Abby, yeah, it's because he was trying to murder a 14-year-old girl on the chance that he could develop a cure. He's murdering this girl that is my surrogate daughter. And you're angry that I defended my daughter? My surrogate daughter? I mean, at least bring that up. At least give Abby the full context of what she's doing. That she's about ready to kill Joel because he was defending his surrogate daughter. But no, he just stood there or knelt there and he just took it, and he did not defend his actions whatsoever when he had every right to defend his actions and at least put some moral ambiguity to this. But nope, he doesn't do it. Then we get to the actual scene, and Ellie busts in, And Bella Ramsey, all right, in that particular scene, Bella Ramsey was okay. I still think that Ashley Johnson did better in the video game with it. The emotion was coming through better with Ashley Johnson than it did with Bella Ramsey. But prior to that, when she got to the cottage, she's holding the gun in front of her like this. Like, just right in front of her, close to her body, no kind of like tactical stance or anything. Like, she was back to being a 14-year-old girl who had never handled a weapon before. With the training she would have gone through in the 5 years between the first and the second season, she should have been holding that gun a lot more tactically, a lot more confidence, and she should have been just much better in that scene. She just looked like a scared girl in that scene. And at that point, she didn't know that they had Joel like hostage. So, all in all, the first game, I give it a 10 out of 10. Easy 10 out of 10. The second game, I give it about a 3 out of 10. Because the second game just tries to force you to like Abby. And they force Abby down your throat. And there's just no way I'm ever going to like Abby as a character. It's just not going to happen. And the fact that they force you to play as Abby, the fact that they try to force you to like Abby, it's no, it's not going to happen. And the series is making the same mistakes. They're not trying to build up any real connection with the audience in Abby. They're just saying, okay, Abby's father was killed. We're going to show like 5 scenes with Abby, and we're going to have her kill Joel. It doesn't make sense, and it's just not good. The episode last week, it was good. It was a solid episode, probably a 6 or 7 out of 10, but this episode, no, I was not a fan of it. I was not a fan of anything other than the technical aspects, mostly. And the attack on the town was unnecessary. The bloater was cool, but it was still unnecessary. And forcing that attack into the town, into the episode, you change the dynamics of the characters. Because now Tommy doesn't have that last interaction with Joel. Ellie does not have that interaction with Dina. And she does have an interaction with a character that, if it follows the story, is going to be dead in about 2 episodes, probably. So it just did not work, and it annoyed me. So the episode today gets a 3 out of 10, right? Because great technical aspects, but they did not do the story well. So that's my own opinion. Have a good one.